Hi friends, it's Jenny with Flow. I wanted to make a little video and talk to you today about depression. I'm sure all of us either know someone who suffers from depression or we've suffered from depression ourselves. It's a very common, very prevalent problem in today's world. So I wanted to share some insights that we can get on depression from Chinese medicine, and also share something that we can do ourselves to help to prevent depression, in our own selves. So in Chinese medicine, we tend to think about the liver when we think about depression, and the reason for that is that a couple of reasons for that. One is that the liver is in charge of the smooth flow of qi. So if the liver is working well and the qi is flowing well, then we see things like digestion working well, and thoughts flowing smoothly, and emotions being appropriate and flowing smoothly. When the liver qi is stagnant and it's not flowing well, it may mess up digestion. You may have ruminating thoughts rather than clear, direct thoughts. Ruminating thoughts being thoughts that kind of circle around and around, that kind of look more like worrying about something than actually like thinking something through and coming to some conclusion and taking some action on a thing. Emotions may look like no emotions, or kind of keeping emotions in, and then suddenly a big emotional outburst. And it might be a big angry outburst, yelling at loved ones or something along those lines. And we've all done it. So if the liver qi is flowing smoothly, then we tend not to have depression. We tend to feel like we have plenty of energy to do what we want to do, and we have direction and clarity about what to do with our energy. If the liver qi is stagnant, we can feel like we don't have energy. And if the only problem is that the liver qi is stagnant, then probably we do have energy to do things. It's just that it doesn't feel like it because that energy is stuck. So there's kind of this continuum in Chinese medicine that starts more with frustration. And so frustration looks like the liver qi thinking about, going in certain directions, reaching out for something, a thing that you want, a desire that you have, but then somebody else saying, or yourself saying, no, you can't have that, or no, you have to do this instead. So redirecting your desires, which then instead of the liver being able to send qi in the direction of the thing that you want and be able to get it there and achieve that thing, do that thing, instead it gets frustrated and doesn't have direction. And so in the beginning, that's frustration. And frustration can be because there's too much input. There's too many people that you're listening to that are telling you what to do, that have input on your situation or on how you spend your energy. It can be your own self that is, that you're directing and redirecting your energy. Like, I want that, but I can't have that, and that kind of thing. So if that continues, if that frustration continues, then it can kind of begin to implode and turn inward and turn into depression. Whereas with frustration, there's some reaching out for things and some beginning to move in directions, or being able to move in some directions but not in others. But with depression, we begin to not be able to move at all, and so we get this kind of turning inward of our energy, and then it feels like that stagnation and that frustration begins to feel like no energy and depression. So something else that the liver is in charge of in Chinese medicine is direction, is having a plan for yourself, for your life. The liver is the seat of what we call the hun, which is the ethereal soul. And what the ethereal soul means is that's the aspect of the spirit or the soul that is ethereal. It's in the ethers. It's able to reach out away from your body and away from your life and think about things you want that are far away, a trip you want to do, or a job you'd like to have, or a body you'd like to emulate, or whatever. It's not the ethereal soul is not it's connected to your body, but it's not, it doesn't have to stay there. It can be like in the clouds and be thinking other things and come up with your dreams, your thoughts, your desires, your aspirations, that kind of thing. So if there is liver qi stagnation, and or if there is liver blood deficiency, which is a kind of a whole other topic, but the liver blood is what kind of nourishes and anchors that hun, the ethereal soul. And so if that's deficient, that ethereal soul also doesn't function quite right. But so here's something we can do ourselves to help to shift the possibility of depression occurring, and even shift the possibility of frustration occurring. And of course, there are always herbs that we can take that are really, really helpful for this, but I wanted to give you something cheap, free, easy that you can do on your own. So, it has to do with this idea of the ethereal soul and liver being in charge of planning. So the liver needs to have a plan, and the liver is a visionary. It wants to have a 5-year plan. It's not so much about, what am I doing tonight or what's for dinner or whatever. It's more like, what's the 5-year plan? What's in the future? What's coming? What's next? What's the direction that we're heading? And liver's sidekick, gallbladder, also helps with this whole planning thing, but their coordination between that is that liver creates and maintains the 5-year plan in its sights, and then gallbladder makes the day-to-day decisions that help keep you on track to move in that right direction, in the direction of that 5-year plan. So here's the exercise that I'd like you to do that helps to support liver in its role of planning. So this is a journaling exercise, and it involves thinking about where you want to be in the future. And it could be 5 years from now, it could be 3 years from now, it could be 1 year from now. But thinking about where you want to be in the future. And you're gonna write that down. Now, it's not necessarily just physically where you want to be, but it is that. It's where you want to be, and it's who you want to be. And it's every aspect of that. So it's where you want to be living. It's and as you write this, I want you to bring all of the sensations that you can into it. So 5 years from now or 3 years from now, who are you? And where are you? And what surrounds you? So when you wake up in the morning, what do you see? What do you feel? What do you smell? What do you hear? So, pull these senses in, because the senses speak to the subconscious and really help to evoke your ability to create this thing that you're writing about. So create this image of where you want to be in 5 years, who you want to be, and even think about that person that you want to be in 5 years. What does that person look like? What does that person dress like? And what does that person think like? What are their thoughts? What are their emotions? What are their relationships like? Who do they surround themselves with? All of those kinds of things. Get as many details down as you can about who you want to be in 5 years or in 3 years or whatever it is. And then, so you're going to write all of that down, and you're going to reread it day after day after day. You don't have to reread it every day for 5 years, but reread it for every day for a week or so, and start to really feel what that is, what that means, what that looks like. And then also consider this person that you intend to be in 5 years. How is that person different than who you are now? So if that person has good relationships, if that person thinks certain thoughts, if that person has a certain income, what has that person done to be that person? What are they thinking? What are they doing? What's their day-to-day activity of somebody who is like that? And so the more that you consider these things and you have clarity about where you want to be in 5 years, the more it gives the liver direction and gives the gallbladder a sense of what decisions to be making day to day to help to get you there. So basically what we're doing is creating a 5-year plan and putting you on the path to it. And if you have that, then the clarity comes with how you should be spending your time, what you should be saying yes to, what you should be saying no to keep you on course. And it doesn't mean that you can't change that course along the way, because you may get partway there and go, actually, now that I'm feeling this out, this isn't quite what I want, and that's okay. You can redirect and you can create a new 5-year plan. But not having one at all makes the liver not have direction, and then its desire to plan is just sort of, you're just kind of getting crashed around against the rocks, rather than being in the flow and directing the flow and being an intentional part of it. So that is your journaling exercise to come up with your 5-year plan. So this isn't necessarily like the goal setting. This is more who you intend to be be the person who is after those goals, who has achieved those goals that you do want to achieve. So I hope this is helpful. It's always fun to consider modern day problems and look at Chinese medicine and see how it explains these things, because really humans haven't changed that much in 200,000 years or more, and much more actually. But anyway, so the problems that Chinese medicine was solving thousands of years ago are the same problems that people have today, and so there's support for that and answers for that. So I would love to see you at Flow. If you'd like to make an appointment, you can always go online and schedule at livelifeintheflow.janeapp.com and just put yourself on my schedule for acupuncture. Or you can schedule yourself with any of our practitioners for massage or foot reflexology or hypnotherapy. And hypnotherapy can be a fantastic way also to access the subconscious and help you to sort out what you want that 5-year plan to be and what might be keeping you from it. So until I see you at Flow or see you somewhere in the world, blessings to you. Have a wonderful day.